Becky, and this is a hand knit letter, a show and tell about the stuff I've made and the stuff I want to make. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's talk about knitting. Actually, before we get into that, let's take a moment to acknowledge this video's sponsor. Today's sponsor is Humidity. Are you tired of having silky, shiny, manageable hair? Would you like to look like you've held your hair double with mohair without the expensive cost? Try Humidity. I can always count on Humidity to be there for me, especially when I'm trying to make a first impression or I just really want to look nice for a special event. Try it sometime. If you don't live in a humid climate, how about you have your partner make their shower incredibly hot and close the bathroom door? Then try getting ready in that bathroom and see how you look. Let's talk about stuff I've made. So in stuff I've made, you may have seen this before. Watching my video about the Nash Yarn Fest, I wore this sweater in there. I didn't talk about it, but you've seen me wear it if you watched that video. And I think I've posted some pictures on Instagram as well. This is the Jacob's cardigan by Norah Gaughan, and she knit this for a Modern Daily Knitting field guide. I can't remember which one. I'll put that down in the description box. But I knit this out of Purl Soho's Good Wool in the color Wild Mustard. I love this cardigan. I've worn it many times. I appreciated how concise the pattern was in the field guide. It was all the information that you need, but it wasn't pages and pages to kind of get you confused or overwhelmed. It was exactly what you needed. So a little quest of mine is knitting patterns that are inspired by Van Gogh's paintings. And so this was one of them. I'll put the painting here in the corner that made me choose this pattern. I appreciated the way the texture kind of looked like rows of wheat or a field of wheat. The texture is really beautiful in this pattern. And that's another reason why I chose this color for the cardigan, was inspired by that painting. I love this. I can't say enough good things about it. It's very comfortable to wear. I think it goes with a lot of things. I knit it a little oversized because I wanted it to be loose on me. This garment is intended to have positive ease, but I wanted more than what was called for my size, so I knit one size up. I knit the size 4. And this took me 3 skeins of Purl Soho's Good Wool in the color Wild Mustard. Next up, I have 2 pocket squares that I knit for my husband. They're called the Jaunty SOB, and I knit these out of Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, just some leftovers that I had. It's just a seed stitch little square. And so I knit one out of this sunflower yellow color, and then one out of Dusty Artichoke. And I'll put a little picture of him in his Sunday best using one of these pocket squares. And he looks really cute. He looks very jaunty. The last thing that I completed is the Sabai top by Suzanne Mueller. And this is a top down in the round sleeveless top. I really enjoyed knitting this. It was very simple, easy. It's beginner friendly for sure. Everything was knit at once. So all the finishes, the armhole, the neck, it's done in the beginning. I also enjoy the little side panel here. That gives it a little bit of interest, and also it kind of, because it's ribbing, it kind of will help accommodate fit because of that ribbing there on the sides. One thing I did differently on this, the bottom calls for you to have a rolled hem after the ribbing like it is here on the top. I didn't want that because I didn't want like a roll around my roll. So I didn't want that right there on my stomach. I just didn't personally care for that. I mean, to each their own. If you want to roll with your roll, then roll with it. I knit this out of Julie Aslan's Lezu DK. It's 90% merino wool, 10% silk in the color Cobalt. And this was a yarn that I picked up when I was at Nash Yarn Fest. Got it from her booth there and got to meet her and her husband, and they're super sweet. It's a breeze to knit. Very simple, like I said before, beginner friendly. I probably would knit this out of something with like linen, maybe some tin Lena. I know Casey mentioned this pattern on her last podcast, Young Folk Knits, Casey, and she mentioned holding two strands of Tinlina together for this top. I think that's an excellent idea if I decide to knit this again. So in stuff I'm making, currently I have my in the car, on the road type project. It's just another classic ribbed hat by Purl Soho. Getting this out of Coats & Co. DK, I think it's a Studio DK, and I'm not sure what color this is, just like a highlighter yellow color. So whatever color that is, I lost the ball band on that a while back. I use this as the stars on my tiny tassel shawl that I knit for my Van Gogh Starry Night, and I had it left over. It was already wound up and I needed a project for the car. So I pulled this out and decided to knit another classic ribbed hat, which is my favorite hat pattern. I would say it's my favorite mindless hat pattern. My favorite hat pattern is the Chesley toque. I don't have the air on in here because it's loud and it is warm. Let's talk about stuff I want to make. I'm about to cast on the Telesto tee by Audrey Borrego. We pattern on Ravelry right now, which is super cool. And I ordered some Magpie Fibers Equinox Sport, which is a linen and silk, I believe, blend. It'll look really pretty in the tee. I like the way the yarn feels. This was the worst winding experience of my life. I don't know how I was able to wind this without having to cut out chunks. It was so tangled. Nevertheless, it's wound and I'm ready to cast this on. I know Mia is about to make one too from Knit and Grace, and she shows in one of her newest videos the yarn that she has picked out for that, so you go check that out as well. And I look forward to not only knitting mine but seeing hers. I don't have a red top and I want one. A few of you have mentioned that they would like to see some of the things that I got at Nash Yarn Fest. I really don't like doing hauls or acquisitions or stuff I bought type of thing, so I feel weird. I'm going to show you what I purchased. If you want to skip forward, I will put a little timestamp, I guess, on the screen for you to skip forward if you're not interested in seeing what I purchased. This is not going to be a typical thing from me, but yeah, I'll just show you real quick. Camellia Fiber Co.'s booth. They are a Nashville-based yarn company, and I purchased the Serene Merino DK. It's 100% merino, non-superwash, and this is the color Evergreen. And I bought this to make a hat for my oldest son for this winter. So I think it's a really pretty color and I think it'll look beautiful on him. So there's that. And next up, I stopped by a booth called Indigo, the Indigo Squirrel, and it is hand-dyed small batch pieces that this lady dyes in Massachusetts. And I got a cotton tea towel, and I'll open that up for you. I thought this was beautiful, and I'm never going to wet my hands on this. I might use it as a purse. I have a leather handle that I purchased a while back that you can add fabric squares to, and you tie it in a certain way and it can make a bag. I might do that with this, or I might just display it. I really think it's pretty. I stopped by a booth called Sassafras Knits and picked out some earrings. And these are also, you can use them as stitch markers. The artist of Sassafras Knits, she even showed me how she clips them onto other earrings. And I mean, obviously these aren't the right size hoops. I have some small gold hoops that I think I might clip those onto. Like I have some little baby ones. And that way those can dangle off of that. I have to wear real metal, like, I mean, obviously this is real metal, but I have to wear like gold or silver or platinum. Otherwise it will be bad. Last thing that I got, well, this was a gift from my friend Ashley of Design by So-and-So. She purchased this for me while we were at the show. And this is a skein of Atlas. It's Modern Daily Knitting, and it's their yarn. And this is 100% Rambouillet. It's a light worsted and the color is wintergreen. And then I purchased, to go with it, this one in the color Truffle. I don't know if the camera really will show this, but it's a blue tinged charcoal gray, which I thought looked really good with this. And I'm going to knit the Sacred Sheep hat. I think Ashley's gonna make one, Mia from Knit and Grace, and Haley from Knit Weekend. We're all gonna make Sacred Sheep, and Diana from A Fruitful Hands. We're all gonna make Sacred Sheep hats. We picked out our yarn while we were there. And this one is what I'm super excited about. This is Lily Loops, Targi, and Polypay, and Silk. And it doesn't have a color on it. It's a DK. And it doesn't say the color, but it is like a very pale, creamy mint color. And I thought I would hold this instead of the white or the cream in that pattern. And that will be my Sacred Sheep hat. Not sure what Polypay is. Let's look that up. Polypay is a sheep breed that is a white, medium-sized polled sheep, which was developed in the 1960s at the U.S. Sheep Experiment Station. I don't know why that made me laugh. In DuBois, Idaho. Polypay sheep are noted for being highly prolific maternal dual-purpose breed. It produces yearly about 4.2 kilograms of wool and is weaned at 120 days. That's a lot sooner than my kids. Breed characteristics. It says to be registered as a Polypay, you must be free of gross anatomical or physical defects. I'm out. Have a smooth body from neck folds. I'm also out. And have no color in the fleece and less than 10% color of black or brown in the hairy parts of the heads and legs. I'm back in. So now we know a little bit more about Polypays and whether or not you qualify. All right, let's talk about free stuff to check out. So podcasts. I have 2 podcasts that I want to recommend. The first one is Homegrown Knits, Courtney. I really like watching her podcast. I like the way she talks, and I also like the projects that she's knitting. She's knitting that loop tee that everyone wants to knit. I'll put the picture here. I also want to knit that. She's holding Tin Lena double for that one, and she says she really likes that, so I think I'm also going to do that. I guess this is going to be my holding Tin Lena double spring, and I think, yeah, that pattern calls for holding Knitting for Olive Pure Silk double, which will be quite pricey, expensive. Next podcast I want to mention is Gaughan, and her podcast is called Talks Knits, and she is a super classy lady. Everything that she knits, I think, is in great taste. Not only the pattern that she chooses, but the color and the yarn that she chooses to knit with. I think she has an excellent eye for those things, and she's a very skilled and talented knitter. More free stuff to watch on YouTube. Moonrise Kingdom is available right now. That's a Wes Anderson film that I really love, and one of my favorite quotes is, "I love you, but you don't know what you're talking about." Then also To Catch a Thief with Cary Grant and Grace Kelly. It's an excellent movie. Both of them are the epitome of Hollywood star to me. And I love the clothing in that film. I love the aesthetic of that film. I think it's an Alfred Hitchcock film, and it's really good. And I feel like I said film like 7 times. Film. Which makes me think of, have you ever heard 555 in German? It's really good. Go look that up. Podcast that is free to me. I'm sure it's probably free to you wherever you get your podcasts. It's called Morrison Mysteries, as in Keith Morrison, as in my favorite voice of all time. I want Keith Morrison to narrate everything I'm doing. Mostly like my bad decisions. It was just a typical day when she was winding the magpie fibers, Equinox DK. Little did she know it would be really, really bad. So this season on Morrison Mysteries, it's a collab of Keith Morrison and Wilkie Collins. Wilkie Collins wrote my favorite novel of all time, which is The Woman in White. He's considered the father of the detective novel or police procedural novel. And this is a story by Wilkie Collins based on an actual trial or an actual event that happened. And it's called The Dead Alive. So look up Morrison Mysteries, The Dead Alive. I'm only on episode 2, but I'm loving it so much. It's a mashup that I never knew would be possible to have Wilkie Collins and Keith Morrison together. But it's there and it's fantastic. I recently finished The Beguiled by Thomas Cullinan. It is a novel written in 1966, and it is a story about a Union soldier who goes to recuperate at a all-girls boarding school in Confederate Virginia during the Civil War. And it is a gothic thriller, and it is written so cool. I know that they've made 2 movies, I think one in the 70s and one recently, about this particular novel, but I haven't seen either of them. And if I did, I probably would hate them, because that's what I do. Something small that I want to give to you all. That rhymes. Tote bag that I got from Nash Yarn Fest. They gave these out for free, so it's not like so don't get too excited. If you would like to have one, comment down below. I can only send it to US residents, but if you want to just comment anyway about the bag and you live somewhere else, I'll gift you a Ravelry pattern. How about that? So that's all she showed and all she told. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope you're doing well and I wish you well. Until next time, bye-bye.